Traits of a Windows app. First of all, how many people have actually seen Windows 8? Great, most of you. How many people have actually started building an app? Okay, not most of you. We'll fix that, okay? So the traits of a great Windows 8 app, there's 8 traits, and I was gonna do this a nice little build, but I'm actually just gonna do that, and we'll talk about these as we go through. So leverage the Windows style design. One of the things that's very important to the Windows ecosystem is we have laid down a fairly strong design language. As Bill talked about, that does not mean we've designed your app. It does not mean that you can't break those rules. It does not mean, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. What it means is there is a look and a feel and a design language for a lot of these apps, and it's important because that's what our users are going to be expecting, and we're training our users as time goes on. Be fast and fluid. I'll talk about what that means in a demo here in just a minute. Snap and scale beautifully. We actually have a full talk on that and investing in great tiles and so on and so forth from Rick coming up this afternoon. So I'm not going to spend a tremendous amount of time on that other than to show you what snapping and scaling is. Using the right contracts. Actually, this one I do need to start to dive into demo here. So first of all, this is Windows 8. For those of you who haven't seen Windows 8, invest in a great live tile. This is the doorway into the application. I mean, all the tiles on here, I mean, some of them are pretty. The pretty is not what's important to me. What's important to me is these are giving me information. Okay? Every one of these at a glance is giving me some amount of information. So I can see what the latest video is on Muzu. I can see that there's 80 new properties in the Properties de France app, because I like looking for chalets in southern France and dreaming. I know what the exchange rate is because I work in both Southern and Northern Ireland, and also my family's still back in the U.S., so we end up traveling back and forth, so the exchange rates are important to me. So every one of these is giving me some amount of useful information, okay, that is interesting to me. So the tile is a very important thing that you should invest some time in. The fast and fluid, I mean, this lives right underneath my fingertips. And you'll notice if I go into one of these apps, this is Muzu, another great Irish app. And again, it's just living right here under my fingertips. There's lots of little things like, when I click it, I don't know if you guys could see it, it dented down and then came back up. And it's just giving me that little bit of feedback that there was something that happened. And that way, if the video doesn't load quite quickly enough, because the video is actually streaming off the internet. Fortunately, the internet's not terrible here. It'll actually tell me, yes, I clicked something, and the app knows that I clicked something. So it's feeling, it's responsive and alive and part of that application. The snapping and scaling is useful because I'm going to slide back to my presentation here, and then I'm going to slide Muzu over, and notice that the desktop here, my presentation moves out of the way, and I can drop the Muzu app right back in here, and the video picks right back up where I was, and it's scaled down to fit in this little bit here. So going back to this pad for a second, this is 1366 by 768, okay? This screen is 1366 by 768. And that's important because the minimum that an application will run at is 1024 by 768. And then this snapping feature, this is 320 pixels. So it's 320 pixels, and whatever's left over of the screen is over there. And so the minimum resolution for a Windows 8 device to be logo certified as a Windows 8 device is 1366 by 768. So 320 pixels plus 1024, okay? Plus this little barrier in the middle, and you can do the maths to figure out how wide that is. So that's snapping and scaling. There's a lot of very interesting and useful uses for that. So for example, if I bring up Twitro, which is a nice little Twitter app, and I'm just going to drop that over to the snapped view. This is interesting. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. We'll go ahead and retweet that. So I can have my mentions or, more importantly, my timeline, and I can just put happy birthday to Benji. Just happy birthday. I don't know who you are, but it's on my Twitter stream, so it must be important. But I can have this up at all times while my application is going, and then over here I can be doing other things. Okay, so let me end the presentation there for a second, and I've got 3 minutes. Rock on. So, you know, but that snapping and... Do I need to reset this box again? Here. I swear it was working. It looked pretty for a moment. Okay. Hey, we're back. Got a little switcher down here. The first time we've used one of these, and it's okay. We may find another solution for next time. But anyways, so this snapping and scaling beautifully is very important. I mean, you need to think about the fact that, you know, we'll think about some of the things that Bill talked about. Your app may be on this size of a screen. I mean, and I'm not kidding. One of my favorite bug reports that I've seen for Windows 8 was actually Steve Sinofsky. I'm sorry, not Steve Sinofsky. Steve Ballmer reported a bug one time to the keyboard team that was only reproable on an 88-inch touchscreen. What? He has an 88-inch LCD monitor with a touch film over the top of it. So think about, you know, what resolution, what size device your users are going to be using. There's lots of other things that we can get into. We're going to be going into some of these throughout the day. But feeling connected and alive, roaming to the cloud, we can actually have the same user profile on 5 different machines. And so when somebody syncs into, hey, how are you? Yeah, he's here. Every time you log into the device, it can check and pull down settings where you can actually roam these settings across all the different machines that you're attached to and so on. And then, very importantly, sweat the details, okay? It's important to sweat the details. It's important to be pixel perfect. And, you know, this is there's a lot of people who are very, very good at that in this room, but make sure that you actually do sweat the details. So I'm going to kind of end my little bit here.